I think everyone will agree Harry and Meghan have had a rather difficult relationship with the press, to say the least. Present company excluded, of course. But as a member of the press who's watched that difficult relationship unfold, why do you think it's been that way?
Well, it's been interesting for me. My career has really pretty much just been in the US media. And so I've been able to stand almost on the side and observe that sort of British media approach to the royal family. There's almost, I would say, an unhealthy relationship there at times where there's a feeling of ownership over members of the royal family. They're held to an incredibly high standard, and that makes it very difficult for newcomers. It's why Meghan would have found it such a culture shock working in the House of Windsor. And I think for Harry, listen, he's always been very aware of how much that relationship with the media affected the life of his mother. And I think he blamed many sections of the media for the death of his mother. And it's something that he's really fought within himself to really deal with, because of course his work does involve the media every step of the way, much as he tries to sort of break away from that. One of the interesting struggles between their time as working royals is that they really wanted to diversify that pool of media they worked with. They wanted to bring in foreign correspondents. They wanted to work with grassroots media organizations and spread their message a little further. I think they really understood that they had such global appeal. And one of the things that was reported back to them at the palace was, well, if you want to do it that way, you're going to have to start funding your engagements yourself. And I think that's really where one of the early seeds was planted in Harry and Meghan's ideas about potentially changing their working model. And so I wasn't that surprised when they made that very clear in January when they put that Sussex Royal website out that they did want to break away from the British Royal Rota and do things a bit differently.
Yeah. Now, you, of course, have an excellent relationship with Harry and Meghan. And I understand not only were you one of the reporters inside Buckingham Palace for Meghan's final royal engagement, but that she actually gave you a heartfelt hug goodbye when hugs were allowed. Please tell us about that day and just how emotional a moment was that?
Well, yeah, I was one of 3 journalists that was at that final engagement. And for me, it was kind of my wake-up moment for all this entire situation. I think we knew what was going on, but to actually be there as a member of the royal family carries out their last working engagement in the Buckingham Palace, which of course was extremely poignant, before she headed back to Canada. It was a very emotional moment, and I remember as many of the guests who were at the engagement left, it was also her chance to say goodbye to some of the loyal staff that have worked with her for some time, and the emotions in the room were very high. And listen, I certainly don't consider myself a friend or even an acquaintance of the couple, but I think you spend that much time around them, you at least become friendly faces around one another, even if very little is actually said. So it only felt right to sort of give Meghan a goodbye hug. And as she said herself many times, she is a hugger. So